Your child is screaming, crying, kicking, maybe even hitting. And in that moment, your heart is racing and you're thinking, is this a tantrum or something else? Because how you respond in the next 30 seconds can either calm the storm or make it last twice as long. If you treat a meltdown like a tantrum, you accidentally escalate it. If you treat a tantrum like a meltdown, you might accidentally teach that big emotions get you what you want. They look the same. They sound the same. But inside the brain, they are two completely different events. And once you understand the difference, everything changes. Your confidence, your calmness, and your child's ability to recover. Let's break it down together. The big confusion. Most of us use the word tantrum for any emotional explosion. But there are actually two very different processes happening in your child's brain. One is goal-driven. They still have some control and strategy. The other is overload-driven. The nervous system has completely flooded, and reasoning is offline. The response each one needs is almost the opposite. So how do you tell which is which in the heat of the moment? Let me show you. What a tantrum really is. A tantrum is a protest. It happens when a child wants something and doesn't get it. More screen time, that cookie, to stay at the park, to win the game. Here's the key feature. There is still awareness. You'll often notice. They glance at you to see if you're watching. The volume goes up when you react. It can stop suddenly if they get what they want. Or it pauses the second something more interesting appears. Picture this. Your 4-year-old is melting down in the grocery store because you won't buy the sugary cereal. Every few seconds, they peek through their fingers to check if you're about to cave. That peek? That's the prefrontal cortex still partially online. This is frustration mixed with strategy. Research backs this up. A 2012 study in the journal Emotion by Wakschlag and colleagues showed that typical tantrums follow a clear emotional arc. Anger peaks early, then distress, and most resolve within minutes when parents stay consistent and calm. So tantrums are dysregulated behavior, but not total neurological shutdown. That means you can, and should, hold calm, clear limits. What a meltdown really is a meltdown is not a protest. It's a nervous system collapse. It happens when the brain has simply taken in too much noise, too many transitions, too little sleep, too much sensory input, or built-up stress. The system overloads, and reasoning goes completely offline. This is what neuroscientists call an amygdala hijack. Think of it as your child's alarm system completely taking over. Brain imaging work by Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA in 2007 showed that during intense emotion, the regulatory parts of the brain literally quiet down unless a calm, safe adult helps bring them back online. In a meltdown, your child is not negotiating with you. They are neurologically flooded. You'll notice, no checking to see if you're watching. Nothing you offer stops it. Their body looks truly out of control. They seem unreachable. This is not manipulation. This is overload. And overload cannot be disciplined away. Pattern interrupt. So here's the game-changing shift. Tantrum to needs a calm boundary. Meltdown to needs co-regulation. Get them backwards, and you accidentally make both worse. How to respond to a tantrum. Stay calm. Stay steady. Stay consistent. Validate the feeling without changing the limit. I know you're really upset we're leaving the park. We're still leaving. No long lectures, no threats, no bribes in the heat of it. After the storm passes, you can debrief in 20 seconds. Next time you're upset, use your words, and I'll listen. Be the calm wall the wave crashes against, predictable, neutral, unmoved. The storm always passes faster when it doesn't get extra fuel. How to respond to a meltdown. This is where everything flips. Logic is useless. Consequences are useless. Sometimes even words feel like too much. Your only job is co-regulation. Drop your voice. Drop your body to their level. Reduce lights, noise, everything. Fewer words. Slower movements. The most powerful thing you can say is often just, "I'm right here. You're safe." That's it. Decades of attachment and neuroscience research prove that children borrow our calm nervous system. Your regulated heartbeat and slow breathing literally become their regulation template. But only if you stop trying to control the behavior and start calming the system. The subtle sign most parents miss. There's one beautiful moment that tells you the meltdown is ending. Watch for breathing slows. Eyes start to focus again. Muscles in the face and shoulders soften. That's the prefrontal cortex coming back online. That's your cue, not to lecture or punish, but to reconnect with a gentle hug or, "I've got you." Common mistake. Here's the trap I see all the time. Sarah's 6-year-old has been at school all day, skipped his nap, and the second they get home, he loses it over the wrong color cup. She sends him to his room to calm down and think about his behavior. 10 minutes later, he's still inconsolable, and now he feels alone on top of overwhelmed. That wasn't a tantrum. That was a full nervous system collapse. And it needed her presence, not her absence. Flip it. Meltdown equals regulate first. Talk later. Tantrum equals validate, plus hold the boundary. Simple rule. Not always easy in the moment, but it changes everything. The long-term impact. Why does this even matter? Because every single response is wiring your child's brain. Repeated threat during meltdowns makes the stress system more reactive. Repeated co-regulation teaches the brain big feelings are safe, and they end. We're not trying to have emotion-free kids. We're trying to raise kids who feel the big feelings and recover faster. That skill, emotional recovery, is one of the strongest predictors of resilience, better relationships, and even academic success later on. The deeper truth. A tantrum whispers, "I want power." A meltdown screams, "I've lost control." One needs calm leadership. The other needs safety. When you learn to read the difference, you stop taking it personally. You stop escalating. You start responding from wisdom instead of fear. And that single shift transforms the emotional climate of your entire home. So the next time the storm hits, pause for just 2 seconds and ask yourself, is this a protest, or is this overload, boundary, or regulation? Because the right response always starts with the right diagnosis. When we understand the brain, parenting stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like teamwork. If you haven't yet watched the first video in this series, Why Kids Don't Listen, go watch that one next. It explains what sets these explosions up in the first place. In the next video, we're going even deeper. I'll show you exactly what happens inside the brain during these moments, and the one technique that actually brings kids back faster. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we're making parenting feel calmer, clearer, and way more connected. Your child is lucky to have a parent who's willing to learn.